I'm Cash, and welcome back to Cash Talks Football, where we break down all the goals in the Premier League. Not so much so far this season, because I've been caught up doing other things, and hopefully that movie production that I'm involved with will finally finish up, and I can get back to covering every single game. So I've only been covering a couple of games, and slowly but surely I'll catch up and do every single game like I did last year. But I do pull out everybody's faults because there's so much bad defending and bad play in the Premier League. But this doesn't lead to a goal. But I want to call out here, Bournemouth defender. Don't know his name because I don't care about the colour of the shirt or the name on the back. Just about their technical ability and what they do right and wrong. So you can learn from their mistakes and hopefully incorporate that into your game, or maybe learn a little bit more about the footballs. So this guy here, I've been yelling about this all last season, if you were following me. There's only one player that did this in the Premier League last season, actually defended properly, and it was John Stones. And here's the key if you're a defender. What you need to do is look at the ball and look at the player. Well, there's the ball. He's a central defender, so he kind of wants to look at his player in the middle and see where that threat is. That gives him enough information to decide whether or not he can go for the ball, whether he's got to hold his shape, wait for the cross to come in, a load of options. But right now, the ball's passed, is right back, okay? And now what he needs to decide is, does he pressure this ball or does he need to hold here and wait for the player to come towards him just a little bit? So watch his head movement, right? Because this is key. He watches the ball, and it's really, really quick, this clip, by the way. He's looking at the ball, and then he checks over his shoulder whether or not he can go. And that's the key part there. He's checked, he's looked. Now, he doesn't do it enough times. Maybe he's good enough to take that picture on board and deal with that because he sees the player's too far away, and now he can go towards the ball, which he does. And he starts going towards the ball, but he checks again to see where the player is. Absolutely perfect. They end up crossing the ball and nothing becomes of it, like they do a little cut back, whatever. But when you see good defending or someone doing something well, you've got to shout them out, and it's well done, yeah, that wee man. Now let's get on to the goals. Now, Southampton concede this goal with one of these things that's been going on in the Premier League for quite a while now. And it's not enough about playing football. They're too busy complaining and waiting instead of actually remembering that there's a game going on all the time. Now, I used to do this formula when people ask me the difference. What's the difference between a Premier League player and a Championship player? And I used to say it was 5 minutes, okay? And what I mean about this 5 minutes, and actually it was not, it was about 45 seconds to tell the truth. It wasn't 5 minutes, it was 45 seconds. And what that means is there's 45 seconds in the game when there's the lack of concentration. And that could be in a multitude of fives. It could be a 10-second spell. Whatever that is, that 45-second gap was always the difference between the top-level players and then like the next division below. Their abilities were kind of the same. Their fitness levels were kind of the same. I'm not talking about the Haalands or the Kevin De Bruynes. I'm talking about the run-of-your-mill players. What's the difference between them stepping it up and staying where they are? Well, it's their concentration levels, right? And one of these things that I used to argue with coaches because they're so bad about teaching concentration levels. So one of the things you do with young kiddies is you're teaching them to juggle a ball, right? And you can do bounce juggles if they can't do it enough. You let the ball bounce in between each one. And you're doing this with, under sevens, under 8s and doing whatever. And then I get coaches going, well, you're not teaching first touch. You're not teaching. No. Because you don't understand what we're teaching. We're seeing if they can stand there for 20 minutes on their own and have a concentration level to do a thing, right? Because that concentration level builds and builds and builds and builds. It's a skill. And if you don't start teaching it, you don't have it later on. And if you don't have it later on, this is what happens in the Premier League. So when this goes down, Bournemouth get on and play the game as quickly as possible. And I'm telling you, if more people take quick free kicks, they'll get more goals. Because everybody for Southampton switches off, except for these two centre-backs here. Everybody is down, waiting to see, referee, what are we going to do? Being patient, 10 yards, little spray foam, and they just get on with the game. And that's why they get this goal. Now have a look. Walking away, everyone's pointing, no one's paying attention, looking at the football. These two kiddies are, look, he's a bit nervous. Up he steps, he sees what he's doing, he's in, making a run, straight away, ball gets played, and he's off. Just looking for a little touch, and that's exactly what he gets. The two centre-backs are kind of paying attention, but what they're really annoyed about is this kiddie here has walked away from the football where he could have been looking at the football, walking away, keeping his eye on the ball, but what has he done? He's turned his back to the football and paid no attention. If you've done that, put your back to the football, that is unacceptable. It doesn't matter if the ball's out of play. It doesn't matter if it's a free kick. You have to be looking and seeing what's going on, and that's why they're able to take this really fast free kick get it in, knock it on. And this guy, what does he do? Great little finish past the keeper. Simple as. Yeah, very well done for Bournemouth. Very poor from Southampton. Should have been more switched on, and they could have prevented that very, very easily. Look at him turning back. He's going to go and complain to the referee, where he should be bollocking his teammates and absolutely going mental at them. So this doesn't happen. And when you start taking accountability as a team, these little things don't happen, because the ref's always going to be bad. You can't change the ref, but you can change what you're doing, and you can make sure that you're switched on, not turning your back to the game, and making sure that that quick free kick doesn't... You have to take a yellow card, you take a yellow card. Yeah, but there we go. Let's get on to the next goal. Okay, this is a little bit of a... well, I'll talk it through, but this is a classic of a team that is struggling, okay? And there's a couple of little clown things I want to point out. But this is pretty decent hold-up play. But this is so easy. When they've played the ball out, right? What are you doing? Are you pressing? Because they've just knocked the ball up here, and you've got 1, 2, 3, 4 people. Well, then these three are on the wrong side of where the side the ball is as he's receiving it. This guy's too far away, so he can easily take it and lay it off into midfield, where there's nobody for Southampton. This guy isn't coming over and covering the middle of the field because these guys have gone forward. By the way, the middle of the field is important, people. Your left and your right back sometimes have to come in and cover because one of your idiot midfielders has gone for a gallivanting down the pub up front. You can't leave the middle of the field open and exposed, because otherwise a simple ball across like this, and now they're running at you completely and utterly exposed. Of course, this guy couldn't have done that because, well, he had a player out here as well. So what are you really looking to do? Right. This centre-back and this centre-back have kind of played the whole situation wrong. I called Virgil van Dijk out this, I think it was the AC Milan game, where he stepped in too high, didn't win the ball, and then Morata laid the ball off, and in they went straight behind. Exactly the same scenario here, where the centre-back has gone too high, too far forward, left this guy exposed on his own. He can't really come and cover the pocket now, and you shouldn't have gone in the first place because you didn't win the ball. It's one of those things in football where, as a coach, you're always trying to say, well, yeah, it's a good decision because you won the ball, but it would have been a bad decision if you didn't win the ball. Well, he didn't win the ball, so it was a bad decision. It's just one of those weird dichotomies where, remember, in football, there's always a lot of doublespeak. And people are always looking for the definitive rule, or this is the answer. It doesn't really work like that. Sometimes it's just a lot of doublespeak, saying this, but actually meaning this, but it depends if you win the ball, or you should never shoot from the outside the 18-yard box. Well, unless you score a worldy goal. So do it, So it's all a bit of doublespeak. But here, he can go if he wins the ball. He doesn't, and opens up this space in the midfield here for the counter-attack. Now, this is where Southampton, you can tell, are a poor team, and they're struggling. Because what they're doing is they're trying too hard. When I show you this next little bit, you'll see exactly what I mean. Okay, so here's the centre-back that tried a little bit too hard, but now he's busted a lung, done a good job to get back. Now, here's the problem. You want to watch these guys here, because they're slowly pushing all of Southampton back. And every single one of the Southampton players goes back and leaves that middle open again. Watch this. Here we go. There's a tracking run. This guy's run across here. Let me just do this. He's just run across here. He's jogging. They've marked up here. Look at how many Southampton players are here. Look, here's the ball. Here's the guy. He's run past him. But it's even worse than that, because the same mistake Southampton do just in a second, and you can see it's just because their team shape isn't structured properly, and people are trying to overcover for other people's positions. And when I show you this, because they do exactly the same in the next goal as well, you're going to see it here. So obviously they've pushed everybody back. This guy's put his foot on the ball, seeing, well, he can't really cross the ball because there's this massive body of players here in the way, right? And then a couple of seconds on, we move it. 1, 2. Look, do we see open? Everyone from Southampton is now back trying to defend. They're working hard. They're doing the right things. But there isn't just enough of someone to have a little bit of composure saying, well, I don't need to get back here in this cluster. Maybe I should mark the guy on the top of the 18-yard box, the one that's right in front of the goal. Because all my teammates are doing a good job. Look, right here. You can't fault them. One view, they're all doing a good job there. They're all marking up there. That's the reason he has to go for the cutback. Unfortunately, this guy here hasn't seen that. Southampton have done themselves a good job trying to get back and cover. But this is where it gets even weirder. Watch this. As we move this forward here, 1, 2, 3, 4 players now start sprinting towards the ball. And that little pocket of space is still there, and he gets to tap it in. The reason I'm bringing this up is because you're going to see these same 3 players basically holding hands, they're stood on each other. Watch this. They're stood on each other. Look at them. They're absolutely stood on each other when the ball goes into the goal. Because Shouldn't be one of them there, but there's 3 of them because they're trying hard. They're trying to defend. They're trying to do the right thing, and they're overcompensating because they don't have enough composure to hold their shape, defend properly as a unit. They're chasing like headless chickens in a circle, right? So this guy gets honestly, it's a good finish because the keeper should do better. He's right here on this near post, and that's where the ball ends up. Boom, right there. Keeper's awful. Should have done better with that. But you can see, you can't get mad at your team for trying, right, like this, because it's your responsibility as a coach to get them that composure to actually hold their shape properly defensively. So when they're under the cosh, they don't panic and all chase the ball like that. Because when we get on to the next goal, you're going to see the same thing. So here's the little problem, right? You've got the guys receiving the ball here, and the left back has completely been left to hang out to dry. Got 2 people pressuring the ball. He's too high up. Can you see that there? There isn't a single Bournemouth player on that anywhere in that area there. That means he can get involved in cover for this guy here, or he has to kind of go over. But it's just they've got enough players back, but they're not really doing anything. They're not really they can't really pressure the ball because there's too many players for Bournemouth here to outplay them because there's only 2 against 1, 2, 3, and they've got the added ability that they've got space. Remember, space is the person on the ball's friend. It's the defender's enemy. They don't want to have that space, but yet they do. So when this ball, look, this guy just holds onto the ball ever for a second, right? Marking there, decent job. This guy's trying to make a run, pulling him out. Okay. But overall, you look at Southampton and you go, yeah, that's not bad. We're kind of okay with that. Everyone's trying to do their job. Look, he's marking here. Let's just move it on. Let me show you the problem. Too much emphasis has now gone on to marking this player here, and no one, this little kiddie here. What's happened, as soon as this run from this player, as soon as he's run this way, that guy's taken 2 steps to that side and opened up the space for him to come in there. Because what he didn't bother doing, where he was in key position, was to go and pressure the ball in the first place. There's absolutely no pressure on the ball. They are bothered about marking these players. Great job. But the most important thing is to get pressure on that football, and they don't do it. So he puts a little fake in, but you remember those 3 players that are all clustered around in a second? Guess what's going to happen? Here they are, all about to hold hands again. There's 2. The third one will join him in a second. But this guy's run it, cut the ball back. Cut the ball back because they've all now overcommitted. Because there was no pressure, now they've overpressured. Does that make sense? It's like, we would call it a tank slapper formation, where you've made one mistake, but then you've overcorrected and made it worse, and then you're overcorrecting and make it worse, and now you're making it worse, and now you're making it worse, and you're opening up the space more and more and more and more and more and more and more. Instead of just relaxing, taking it easy, having a look at what's going on, keeping your eyes on the ball, and pressuring the ball at the right time. They don't. By the way, still a good finish. Think the keeper should do better again. But he cuts inside. Look, there we go. There's our 3 players having a little bit of a handy hold. This guy knows that he's done it wrong. He should have been pressuring the ball on the outside, not trying to pressure it when he's coming to the inside, because of course, think about it this way. Let me draw it so you see it. So when he's coming on the inside here, and you're coming from this position, he can cut into the space you've just come from and go that way. If you're already here and he was here and you pressure him, he can only go down the line. It's easy, isn't it? Making people go down the line. So now he takes his shot, puts it into the bottom corner of the net box, and it is a quality strike. Don't take anything away from him. But Southampton make it easier for him by opening up that space, never really pressuring him or putting him under any danger of losing the football. Let's get on to the Southampton goal. I do think this is a similar situation to what I was saying about the first Bournemouth goal, where Southampton were the culprits of not concentrating, where that quick free kick came in. This is kind of, I hate using the word, second phase of play. Oh, I've done a coaching course and it's the second phase of play. No, it's still in the attacking phase. The only times it's the second phase when the ball goes down the other end of the field. I love it when they start making things more complicated so they can gatekeep things and try to make things more and more complicated to sound smart. It's not. They're still attacking. And as they're still attacking, you need to be switched on. But when this ball comes, what's going to happen? It's going to play from this guy here, to this guy here, and he's going to put the ball into the box, right? And there's enough Bournemouth players to deal with it. He's reading the pass. Good job, mate. Because he's telegraphing it. He's got nowhere really to go. Fantastic. So we're going to pick it up from this guy here on the ball. But watch the difference when this ball comes in. Simple. Shifts it to his foot. Takes a nice first touch. Puts it over here. Ready to deliver the ball. And there's enough play. 1, 2. They're all marked. Enough Bournemouth players and a goalkeeper. Watch what ends up happening. Bang. Goes across. There's the danger. The little flick on the front post. just takes it away from the defenders. It's so frustrating as well when you've all, I don't know if you've like played as much or coached as much as I have in the world. There's always that one player on your team. We call him the unlucky lube, and he just manages to do the thing. You know, every game, and he does the thing. He gets the flick. Another player gets the flick, and it goes completely the other way. He gets the flick, and he puts it in the path of the other team. Quickest to react, diving header into the bottom corner. Just an unlucky touch. But quite frankly, there was enough players in the middle there to deal with that and react to it quick enough. And that's why I go back to that 5 seconds of concentration. They're just switching off after that second flick. And Southampton get themselves a goal. Other than that, I'll see you next time on Cash Talks Football.